Right, welcome everybody to another episode of Chris and Dave's Reality TV Cast. I am one of your hosts, Chris, and my co-host and very good friend is Dave.
Hey there, Chris, and hello to our listeners out there. Welcome to Chris and Dave's Reality TV Cast. We are covering the Big D Season 1, Episodes 9 and 10, Chris. Now, where would you like to start today?
Well, we're at the end, Dave, and this has been a different season for us. I've enjoyed this, I think, a lot more than what I've read online, what people and some of our friends and listeners and that who've been saying, like, it's not bad. I've actually got involved in all these characters. Don't know why, Dave. I don't know why. I think you hit the nail on the head. Like, yes, it's only 10 episodes, Chris, and you're correct. I think with the episode 9, we get this thing where they talk to the parents on the screen, don't they? So you've got a few things where they're talking and that. I did like Alexis's mum, though. Fucking hell, she laid into Devon. And Devon's been very open about he keeps saying about his temper, doesn't he? And like, you know, she even said at some point in this situation with Dean, he'd have just absolutely nailed him one. He'd have chinned him or something, wouldn't he? He wouldn't have even fought. So she said, I can see growth there. But she gave him some home truths. That was obviously an issue when they split up. There's obvious things, obviously, you know, from both sides. But I did like that. I thought, this is good, because it's actually honesty. It's not like The Bachelor, is it? Bachelorette. You know, the old classic where her dad turned up, what's called the presenter, and it's like, well, where's the camera? You know, he knocks on the door. Did. Oh, hi, Daddy. The camera. You know, we were pissing ourselves laughing.
I wasn't expecting you.
I wasn't expecting you. The camera crew over my shoulder.
What the hell is this camera crew behind me?
Where's the one over your shoulder when you just knocked on the door? So I did like the honesty of it. I do think they're fucking presenters, Jordan and Jojo, whatever she's called. They're fucking rubbish. They could be AI, Dave. They are so wooden, them two. They've offered no real personality. They've not stepped in. As much as a slag off Nick Lachey and Vanessa Lachey, who I think is a bell end, at least they will sort of have a bit of freedom to speak their mind. These two are just like auto cue robots, aren't they? It's like, hello, we're now going to speak to your parents. Oh, great. Yeah, well done. So
I agree with you that they are a bit shit. But Chris, I mean, what a great gig.
I know.
Someone came to us and was like, oh, we're going to fly you to Costa Rica and basically add very little, really. We're not really going to challenge anything the islanders say or anything, but, you know, fucking Costa Rica, innit, in this idyllic location. So we'd be over there like a shot.
Yeah, those are good. Let's just correct myself. You are there, right there, Dave. But what did you think? I know I've jumped to Devon and Alex because we had Casey originally, didn't we, to start with? What did you think of this episode? Because I thought it started well, and then I've got a bit of an issue with how it ended, but we'll talk about that.
So for Devon and Alexis, right, we've talked about this loads of times where... And it's part of the thing that I find fascinating about reality TV, because we get to see all of the facts, all of the context. We get to see it filmed. Whereas when people go off and they talk about whatever's happened, they represent it in a very different way. So, you know, in real life, you know, you always have to be careful. If you've got one side of the story, don't fucking jump to conclusions and take that 100% at face value, because the other side of the story, you know, might represent it differently. Even though we've talked about this maybe 1,000 times and I try and practice it through my life, honestly, it's something I have to constantly remind myself about, because I've come into, or you know, through this series, I've drank the Kool-Aid, Chris, because both, you know, Alexis and Devon have been saying about what an absolute tyrant the mother was, and, you know, she was interfering with the relationship. Chris, I thought she was a bit of a fucking legend. And what was clear that came out of that conversation for me when they were all there was he has got some real fucking anger issues. Not just like arguing over like cooking eggs or something, but, you know, there's probably some stuff that's gone on there that the mother does not agree with at all. And it sounded like she was in not the best relationship as well. So she can recognize those kind of things and won't tolerate it for her daughter. So I completely flipped. I was like, oh no, the mother's got you pinned. And it's all right. You can say it. You're filmed. You're on a reality TV show, so you're not behaving like your true self, really. Chris, if me and you went on, we would be trying to be authentic, but you've got someone pointing a camera in your face. You wouldn't be 100% yourself,
No.
And so it's one thing doing it on the reality TV show, and another thing, practicing at home. So I thought that was almost the highlight of episode 9 for me. Was the wake up call for me again. It's like, oh yeah, don't fucking just take what someone says, even though Devon and Alexis seem to be both on the same page, in terms of the mother interfering and stuff. But yeah, after that call, I saw it a completely different way. I mean, how did you see that?
I think you're right. I do think you're right. I think what she was saying was just pure honesty. You're right about having him pegged. It's just like, no, she's got your number. There's things that we'll never know about on this show that they won't disclose. I'm not saying he's been physical or anything, but has he been in fights with other guys? Is there something going on there? There's something that's been inherent and consistent. It's historical things with him. That's obviously one of the reasons they split up. I'm not saying she's innocent or anything, but it's all pointing towards that, and he's even calling it out himself. So obviously that was the reason they broke up. I don't think it helps that he's got the internet fucking troll on his shoulder, Dean, just fucking pushing his buttons, because Dean is dying for Devon to give him a crack, just to fucking get him booted off the show or something like else. And what I was saying before was, I think with them, and it carried on into the next episode anyway, into the last episode, but we talked, I'm just moving on slightly, if that's okay. Casey was, why did she get a text? Like, why did she get a text off Brooks? And in the last episode, obviously, the story is because they bring them back. And that's why all of a sudden we know that she can use a phone and Brooks is sending these text messages. Is it a bit of a producer setup? I don't know. But that's obviously why. But when Dean comes back, straight away he's on Devon again. Straight away, Dave. Like, Devon gives it him back. But it's like, I'm not saying that Devon is completely innocent, but he's sort of like, it's like the producers have gone, go on, just give him a bit more. We need some sort of eruption. And it doesn't matter what's happened. Dean is there in Devon's fucking, as soon as they start, he's on him, innit? And I can't work out whether it's like that big brother thing where he's looking out for him and he sees a bit of himself in him and he's trying to make him a better person. But to me, it's like a keyboard warrior. And then it's like, fuck it, yeah, whatever, like the old Twitter trolls, oh, fuck it. And he just keeps fucking pushing his buttons, doesn't he?
Yeah, I mean, Dean, what a knob. Straight off the bat. I mean, he just is an absolute tool, and he's shown himself up, I think. And the way he's going after Devon. And the thing is, if someone's at you constantly, you've only got so much energy to deal with that before you erupt yourself. And in that enclosed space, you can't just walk off. But the thing I've kind of really enjoyed about this series, Chris, is because there are so many bell ends, right? Many bell ends on this, for many different reasons. And it's like, especially the divorced couples, a lot of them, they just bring out the absolute worst in each other. And I have to say, I do think watching this and how people interact without respect for each other is probably quite triggering for a lot of people. A little bit triggering for me as well. Just seeing, especially, let's talk about Casey and Brooks later, but, their fucking venomous way that they're going after each other. It's just, and you wouldn't, if you were speaking to a stranger, you would treat them with respect, and humility. But all that goes out of the window when, someone who you've been really close to and then you're not anymore. So, it's really terrible. But Dean, you know what I kept thinking, Chris? Have you seen that GIF of Oprah Winfrey where she's like pointing at everyone?
Yes. Yeah.
I couldn't help it. It just immersed itself into my mind's eye. But let's say it was something like, you're a see you next Tuesday. You're a see you next Tuesday. Because just half the cast are just absolute bellends. But, I think the Dean we saw before Amber came in was the act.
Yeah.
And again, we haven't we're seeing an edited version, so there could be some other things where maybe Dean has been, he's caught the rough end. Maybe Devon has been worse to him, but it just seems to me he's just like a self-centered prick. And just like once he's got the bit between his teeth, he's just going to go after someone. But yeah, I just thought he was probably the worst of the lot, wasn't he, Dean?
I think so. He never reflected, did he? Self-reflect or anything. I think, well, why is he saying this about me? It's just purely. His game got rumbled pretty early, and I think that was the problem. He was on sort of a PR mission then to prove he wasn't. But they never really featured Amber either, did we? He came back in with her, and they never really featured her or anything. It was just centered on them. It's just strange. It's a strange dynamic. And just moving on slightly, I was talking about Casey. Dave, fucking Brooks is a complete cock. And I'm telling you now, having watched that episode 10, he was definitely on the marching powder there. He was fucking definitely on something, because he was wired in that episode when it kicked off. He's so triggering towards her. And Ben even come to speak to him. I mean, Casey's like, I want to be with someone who's the opposite, basically, of Brooks. Brooks is a wanker, Dave. He's an absolute wanker. He thinks he's something. And he starts slagging her off, saying, I bought you a car and all this. And it's like, what a prick. You know what? It's been great for us watching it. I was like, fuck me, this is fucking great TV. But I just thought it was so triggering for her. And she even said it like, you're such a hold over her emotions because of what he's done. It's just an absolute gaslighting wanker. And I was so glad that he didn't get anywhere near the final.
Yeah, this is probably the most triggering bit of the whole series, I think. And in that argument, the back and forth, I was trying to catch everything, but there were so many insults flying back and forth. It was hard to catch everything, but it seemed like they'd split up, and he was saying he'd bought her a car, but he was paying for her gas as well.
Yeah.
Like even now. And one of the things I guess that is, I don't know, a little bit unclear to me is, I think a lot of these have been more recently divorced. So actually, they haven't sorted everything out yet. So it seems, I mean, fucking hell, let's get on to Gillian in a bit. But
oh my God. Yeah.
But, they just haven't been able to do that clean break and get away from each other. And, it's after he was saying about the car and the gas and stuff, and she was saying, well, I could have gone, half after your business or whatever. Getting serious for a second, unfortunately, this is where it gets really toxic. And especially when kids are involved, it all gets fucking horrendous. And the problem is, it just fundamentally is messy. If you've spent a long time with someone and then you've made all these decisions and all these kind of big purchases together, and when it comes to divvy them up, no one ever comes out a winner, really. Everyone feels a bit fucking hard done by or whatever. But it's a good case for, like, unfortunately, sometimes you do have to get a third party involved to, like, sort all this shit out. Because, they've obviously it seems to me they've tried to be sort of semi-amicable with it, but actually, she wants to detach. She just sees him as like a friend, but who has a massive fucking negative impact on her as well.
Yeah.
But he's just still trying to get back with her. So allowing him to pay for the gas, right? Well, she's thinking, well, yeah, but I could gone after your business. But they probably never had that conversation. So she's just making the assumption that she's making this concession. Whereas he feels like he's got some sort of power over her then. By paying for her gas, she kind of owes him something. And so that's just where it's like, look, guys, you just need to fucking break completely. And I'm not happy that they were still going on about this going into counselling thing. Why? Cut this fucking person out of your life. That's it. That's the only way. Someone might disagree with me completely, but I just think when it gets that toxic, and that amount of controlling and a negative impact on both people. All of this. You hope you find your soulmate and whatever, and they bring out the best in you, and they make you better than what you are. But when it gets to this point, they make you worse than what you are. And so I just think that fuck the counselling. Just fucking move to a different state or something, or just get out of each other's lives. That is a closed chapter now, and you just need to both accept it and move on.
Yeah, and you, I mean, what a great idea, Dave. You've still got a lot of like financial and thingy baggage. Just go on a fucking reality show. That's the ideal thing to thrash everything out on, isn't it? I mean, taking emotion back from the fact that I think Brooks is an absolute, as you would say, a fun to see next Tuesday. Maybe it's that. Maybe Casey's just lived in a fucking dream world for the whole time they were together. And it's like he supplied everything. And she's just like, well, I want my car filling up. And he went and did it. And then now she's like, I'm so hard done to. I don't know. But he's a triggering fucker as well. I think he's got some issues there. But he was definitely laced there in that last episode. But it was great. Again, great TV. Because you'd watched it before and you were like, oh, it's good this. And we've both good episodes. I mean, going on to David and Angelique, obviously their relationship's faltered. You'd said it from the start. It's a passion thing. It's all about, they've obviously had a bit of action. They talked together, but when she came in, Angelique had one thing in mind. She needed to get with somebody. She got with David. They looked quite happy, very passionate together. But ultimately they said they were going to split up in one scene. And the next scene, she's fucking getting horny because he's not speaking to her. And I'm like, and she's got her legs wrapped around him in the pool. And I'm like, all the girls are just like...
Because he wouldn't take no for an answer. That's what she's getting all horny about, because he was being dominant. And I'm like, well, this is a fucking weird, toxic message.
Yeah, it's just like... And the girls are like, oh, for fuck's sake. Like they were just... You could see they were just like, fucking not again. So ultimately, I think... their relationship was doomed from the start. But enter Gillian, Dave, who is an absolute wanker. And she's horrible. I'm sorry. I don't know what's happening in their relationship again. We're only judging this TV show. But talk about being smug and being arrogant. I thought she was horrible in these 2 episodes. Really, really horrible. And all the things she was saying to David was like, yeah, I don't give a fuck. I'm so happy that you're unhappy and blah, blah, blah. Yeah. We don't know what he's done to her. That's just you. Horrible.
Yeah. I think... I agree. And you know what? I'm really conflicted about Gillian, Chris, because I thought she almost stole the show in these last 2 episodes, because what an utter fucking see you next Tuesday. Chris, I think she is almost on the level of Olivia from Australia Maths. I think if she'd have stuck around for a bit longer, that's the level that she could have got to.
Yes.
Because talk about fucking passive aggressive. And I talked about before, like, in that relationship and, being ground down and being less than the person you are. Fucking hell, I actually think David deserves a fucking medal if he stayed with her for any length of time whatsoever, because she's almost like an energy vampire. Someone who's just going to follow you around and give you negative fucking smart-ass passive-aggressive comments and just chip away at your soul every fucking day. So I pity the fool who is going to end up with her after this. But yeah, fucking horrible. And not just to David, but to Angelica as well. Proper like bitchy nastiness, mean girls stuff. And I'm just annoyed that obviously Angelique went off and had a bit of a cry over what they said, but I kind of wanted her to just retaliate and fucking go back at her. Yeah. Even though if she had, then she'd have done that Olivia thing, where it's like, getting out of order. I'm just saying, I'm just speaking my truth, and this kind of thing. So she wouldn't have won if she'd have done that anyway. But just, oh God, what a cracking villain, Chris.
I agree, and I think you're right. She'd have eclipsed anything Dean's done. I don't think Dean's been a villain. I just think he's been a bit of a cop, but she had that baddie energy. And I must admit, we didn't really see it. And I was like, oh, And it wasn't like one of them. You can imagine her with her fucking mates going, "Oh, did you see how I dealt with him? Yeah, you blah blah blah." And it was like, but you come across really poorly, which is what we need on these shows. But anyway, I was.
But her friends will think David is the devil incarnate.
Yes,
because she'll have been telling him all these stories about what he's done and stuff. And how he's basically the devil, and so they'll take her side, understandably, because that's why they're mates. And again, it's what I was saying before about people often have to, but it is an inbuilt thing within us. We'll just take the facts and draw our conclusions too soon, probably. But what did you think, though? I mean, David did seem a bit more loved up. I don't really think he was massively overboard. We've seen a lot of these shows and people get in too deep too fast. I don't really think he was laying it on that thick. But he was like, I'm definitely interested in carrying this on. And she's like, oh, I can't fucking take this commitment. And when she turns up like an extra out of Austin Powers, fucking just throws him under the bus, makes him look like an absolute dick in front of his family. I was like, oh, come on, mate. Just detach danger, or squeeze a few extra days out of this one, knock yourself out, swing from the fucking lampshades, give her a dirty Sanchez, whatever. Just have a lot of fucking fun, and that's it. It's a holiday romance, free all-inclusive holiday, knock yourself out. But then, like say, you mentioned before, it got weird because he was like, no, I'm not taking no for an answer. And she's like, oh, it makes me so horny when he's like that. It's like, fucking hell, you do need to work on yourself. And to be fair, I'm kind of glad she came to that conclusion. And it was interesting, the conversation she was having with Casey. I mean, it's a bit weird because Casey and Ben were kind of like together, but I thought it was a very honest conversation she was having, that, when things are good, Angelique, she's not asked about Ben. Yeah. Doesn't even think about him. She's just having fun. When things are bad, then she's thinking of Ben.
Yeah.
It was good for her to recognize that and kind of verbalize it, even though I think saying it's Casey who's romantically involved with Ben is probably not the right person, but that was a good thing, and just honest. That's how I feel, but also utterly not fair to Ben. You can see that probably historically, she's got to a really bad place in various relationships. She's run back to Ben, and he's sort of thinking, well, there could be something in this. Maybe we could rekindle stuff. He helps build her confidence back up and everything. And then she feels great, and then she's off, seeking out someone else. So yeah, really, really interesting, Chris.
No, honestly, I'm with you. And she always looks like, Angelique always looks like when you see them films where the bride's been jilted at the altar and the makeup's just run down her face. She's always like so upset when she's with Casey, because they were calling Gillian out quite rightly in the video room. So yeah, baddie energy. Gillian needed to be here for the whole 10 episodes, Dave. I'm sure we'd have had I agree. The whole Olivia vibe about her was just perfect for this show. But ultimately, Dave, Devon and Alexis won the 50K. So I was interested. I didn't realise there was a money thing at the end of it. I don't remember anyone saying it. They told us in episode 9 about this. So that was interesting when they got everyone together. And they were the judge, jury, and executioner as such, I suppose, the ex-contestants, which again, I mean, Devon and Alexis won. I'm glad Dean wasn't the judge, because I don't think they'd have won, Dave. I think he'd have been saying no. But yeah, I don't know. It was a bit of a strange way to do that, but ultimately get £50,000 to settle in for their family afterwards. And I will say to you, Dave, you do know I've got a where are they now situation with each one.
Nice. Because I must admit, because of the whole interaction with the mother, I was rooting for Ben and Casey, if I'm honest.
Yeah.
I just thought, okay, if Devon is going to work on himself and he really backs it up and puts the work in, but that's not a light switch thing. That is a months and years long journey to do. So it's kind of like, okay, let's see where this goes. But I guess I was rocked by that conversation with the mother, to be honest, with that couple. I from episode 1, I think I said that they've got a good chance of rekindling that, and I was fully in their corner at that point. But I guess I just felt that, for me, if I was doing the voting, I'd have probably gone Ben and Casey.
Yeah, well, that's a good call. Good call. So, Dave, do you want to Where Are They Now?
I do, Chris, and I haven't looked at these.
So, the winners, Alexis and Devon, Dave, 50 grand in the back pockets. Are they together? Our survey said.
Well, hold on. Let me. Oh, you've told me now.
Sorry.
Let me have a guess and then fail miserably.
Have a guess. Are they guess, Dave?
I am going to say they're not together. But so I was going to guess that because, as I've just alluded to there, these issues, these real complex, deep-rooted issues, I think take a long time and a lot of hard work to get through. And I think probability-wise, they probably would have ended up splitting up, because you're not always on an all-inclusive holiday, are you?
No.
So your issues when you get back to real life are different. And life is fucking hard for everyone.
Yeah.
But when you've got all of this stuff to work on as well, it's really fucking hard. So, I'm afraid the chips were stacked against him, I think.
Okay. It's 1 out of 1 then. I'll give you that one. 1 out of 1. So, the next couple, or the thruple, Dave, is Casey, Ben, and Brooks. Did any of them get back together, stay together? No. Where do you think we are?
No. I think I liked, out of all the various couples, and I guess we haven't talked about Thakor and Joe again. He fucking came in as if he's Dr. Phil, didn't he? Tried to dish out his fucking love advice. I kind of feel like the interaction with Casey and Brooks, everything is still too raw. So step 1, right, detach completely. Get to that point where you can have a clean break. And they have got kids. I wasn't sure about it earlier in the series, but it seems like they do have kids. So that makes it harder. But get that clean break. Sort all that shit out. I get the impression Casey's kind of living a little bit of the wildlife, pre this show. She's having a lot of fun. She was saying she normally goes for the football players and whatever. I think she's got a bit more of that to do. And even though Ben seems like, he's Mormon, and he seems like one of the nicest blokes in the world. And I just think that they're not going to last the distance. Fuck knows what Brooks is doing, but probably stewing in his home, counting his petrol receipts or something. But yeah, so not any of them together in any combination.
That's 2 out of 2. So I have updates. Ben, we don't know what's going on, Dave, but Casey is now a social media content creator, which, as I'm reading all this bullshit, I do think that these lot of all in America, they finally cottoned on to how lucrative these shows can be in the UK. So obviously, but this is the shock, Dave. Brooks, he's got his own business firm, but he's got over 1 million followers on TikTok now and 86,000 followers on Instagram. So he's doing the same. He's got Hawley's firm. So that is, that's not a shock to us. So 2 out of 2. So the next couple, Dave, Ariel and Blair.
Oh, not a chance. I want to pick you up on some of that, because I think in the US, they were further ahead of us in terms of the social media stuff. It's just The Bachelor was the flagship kind of franchise,
the deals,
and and then you build up your Instagram following from that. So I kind of feel like that was the lighthouse. So that was way before kind of Love Island and stuff. And it's just all of these outlier one-off shows. But even for those, it seems like you can build up a good following from it and not have to do any real work anymore.
Well, fucking, I wish I could do that, Dave. Me and you, that'd be great. I'll create some videos of me acting like a cock on TikTok. I've done them. Look, they're all deleted. But anyway, so are they together? You've said no.
No.
Okay,
no.
Our survey said correct, Dave. So I should be ticking you, actually, not giving you the bad one. That's correct. So it's 3 out of 3 so far. So Ero's now got 1.5 million followers, Dave, and Instagram 44,000. But he isn't into the social media life. He's now a senior enterprise customer success manager for Know Before. Don't know what any of that means, Dave. It looks like a load of drivel just to put on your CV, but there you go. So, this is the best one. The pictures are crackers. So Dee Dee and Fako, Dave.
Oh, I mean, they're not. This is easy. When we do the Love Island things or some of the other series, Love Island doesn't count, actually, because they do the reunion about a week after they're out. But these are just such horrible couples, aren't they? So Dee Dee and Tucker, definitely not together.
Correct, Dave. And I've got to send you this picture, which I know I'll have to try and share this on our socials. But have a look what Fucker looks like now, Dave, or Fucker, as I was calling him. Doesn't even look like the same person.
Hold on.
It looks like he's
coming through now. What the hell?
He looks like an extra off Yellowstone. He's now dressed like a fucking cowboy, or he's on the rodeo, Dave. So, no, they are not together. He's with somebody else. He's in a relationship. So that is a definite no, Dave. So that is 4 out of 4 so far.
You know,
and also showing
Fako, I mean, when you saw him from his wedding photos, he was quite thin, wasn't he? And then he's obviously been on the special sauce down the gym. Because he's bulked up, but he actually looks like he's cut down quite a bit there.
He looks good there. He looks like he's got curly hair, everything. Yeah, he looks
still a knob.
He's still a fucking bell end. But so that's 4 out of 4. So Ali and David, or Mims as he was called on the show, Dave.
Oh, I mean, they won't be together. Not a chance.
So let me have a look. That's 5 out of 5, Dave. Unbelievable work there. Ali is the proud owner of the Melty Chocolate, a bakery based in Fresco, Texas. And David has been in a couple of TV shows, Dave, as like American football and things like that. So he's still around football as well. So you are correct. So that is 5 out of 5. Now,
basically, no one's together, is the
Don't ruin it now. Do not ruin it. So the next couple is Gillian and David and Angelique, Dave. Now, I'm going to send you a picture. Who is that, Dave, on them pictures?
Oh, so Gillian, don't know
David
who the bloke
and Angelique is.
So
is
I
that
can see
Gillian or Angelique?
I mean, it looks like Gillian to me.
She's lost a lot of weight. She's done really well, hasn't she?
Yeah.
For herself, it's different. It is Gillian, Dave, correct. But the news is, Dave, they are, or are they not together?
Oh, no, definitely not together.
I'm useless at keeping secrets out. But anyway, they are not together. But, however, they will definitely not be together because Gillian has been with a guy called Mike Schiavone, and they have got a baby, Dave. They welcomed daughter Lily Stella on the 2nd of February this year, so there is no way back. And apparently, David is just seemingly prefers to keep the details of his life under wraps, though we know he is presently based in San Diego.
Hold on. So, and I know they filmed this, what was it, a year ago or something?
No, it's longer than that then, if that's the case, yeah.
But they have a baby, and she was having a go at David about moving too fast with Angelique.
Yeah, so when did they film this?
She's managed to form this new relationship, maybe get married, maybe not, and decide to bring something else, another human being into the world, which would have taken 9 months to fucking grow. I think another fucking data point of what a massive fucking hypocrite she is. And again, for me, I think she's another Olivia. We saw Olivia on Maths be that massive hypocrite. She's having a go at Dominique about doing OnlyFans and stuff. Next minute, I've got an OnlyFans page.
Yeah, good point, that.
I just think personality-wise, I do think they're in the same kind of space. They'd get on, honestly, famously, they'd get on so well together because everyone else in the world would just be utter knobheads and they could slag them off all day and make themselves really happy and toxic.
That's true. That's true. Now, I have been trying, Dave, to find Dean and Amber together. I can't find anything. I've looked everywhere. I'm sure on the socials there is, but I haven't got the energy to go on his socials or hers. But I would pretty much say it'll be a clean sweep for you, and you've got the victory ball of 6 out of 6 because they definitely won't be together.
You know what? I would wobble on those two, though. You know why? Because the way Amber was defending him, you know, when the group would basically say, look, you can't just fucking call out all women, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, you know, we're manipulative. She was defending him, and she came in with a bit of a mission to get him back. And I think because he alienated himself more and more from the group, he ended up getting closer to Amber because of that. So I would wobble. I'm still going to go that they're probably not together, but weirdly, in this toxic way, I think they would probably, at least for the short term, get back together. But long term, no, definitely be separate.
I think you're correct, Dave. I can't even find him. I've been looking as you're talking, and I can't. So we'll just go with the not together. But anyway, Dave, what an end to the series. And we've done this just about right because we know exactly what we're going to be starting very, very soon, aren't we?
We definitely are. And we have tried to do this for about 4 years and usually failed and ended up running multiple seasons at the same time. But we've actually nailed it this time with a nice little filler series, nice 10 episodes of the Big D. But Chris, we love it, don't we? Starting this week is going to be Maths. Maths UK, season whatever. Is it 10, 11 now in the UK?
Yeah, might be 10 or 11.
Yeah, I can't bloody wait. And the thing is, the Australian's always the flagship, isn't it? That's always better. But last year for UK Maths was brilliant. And it just seems to me that, you know, through a little bit of casting and the producers manipulating things and stuff, they look at the Australian one and try and, you know, get to that standard. So I've got high expectations for this series, Chris.
Can't wait, mate, honestly. And I do owe everyone an apology in advance. I've alluded to this, but we've got the first week. We don't know how we're going to do it, but we're going to review it as normal. However, the second week will be a slight delay because somebody has booked a holiday and not realised that it is when Maths on. And there will be no recording for the second week. But we will catch up when I get back. So I do apologise, everyone, if you're wondering where the podcast will be. But I can't wait. And I'm sort of thinking, I'm going to have to watch this while I'm on holiday. Not because of the podcast, just because I'll be invested in it. Now, Sam and Jordan, when we go away, Sam and Jordan do love the soap. So if we're around the pool, I'm sat there and I'm like, what are they doing? And they'll both be under a towel together. And I'm like, what are they doing? And they're watching fucking Emmerdale or Coronation Street. God. You know, like 9 o'clock. And at that point, I jump in the pool and start swimming and stuff because I'm usually doing some sort of exercise. But with this one, I'm going to be a hypocrite myself because I'm going to have to try and get it off the Channel 4 app or something. But yeah, I end up having to pay for ITVX for them too so they can watch the soap. Because apparently, Dave, it's too much. And I'm air quoting, I'm being dead cocky because she's not going to listen to this for a day or so. But it's too much when they get back to watch all these to catch up, Dave. So they'd rather just be close. But if you buy the pool drinking a margarita or a Prosecco, I'm now creeping because I know I'm going to get a whack when she listens to this. It's probably a good thing, Dave. At least you can multitask. Let's just say that.
You do. So you pay for ITVX, presumably to watch it abroad?
$3.99, yes, for it's for the adverts, so you don't get the adverts when you put it on.
You know, you could do what a lot of our listeners do, Chris, and get a VPN. You could even get our very own affiliated NordVPN, which is in the show notes. That is correct. Then you could watch all the different things that are in the UK.
It's almost like we knew what we were doing there, Dave. That's a very good idea.
You're paying for ITVX, one single channel. You're paying $3.99 a month, so it doesn't seem like we all know what we're doing.
It's only for the month we're away. It's me. I don't even watch it, and I'm going to have to pay for it. There's something going wrong here, Dave. I'm getting shafted. Anyway, big thank you to everyone, and thanks to you, mate. We're in a good series, this. I've enjoyed it, and thanks everyone for listening. I know we just threw it in there as a filler one, but this has been a bit more enjoyable than I thought, to be fair. So if you want to email us, cdrealitycast@gmail.com, and we always get emails from Maths and Love Island. Love Island's usually the spearhead of interaction, but Maths always brings it. So if you've got anything to say about Maths, guys, please email us in, cdrealitycast@gmail.com, on social media @cdrealitycast. Please get over to Facebook, Chris and Dave's Reality TV Cast. Come and join us over there, guys. And if you want to get over to patreon.com/CD Realitycast if you want to support us a little bit more, massive thank you to everyone who supports the podcast, past and present. We do appreciate it. And if you do get time, please get onto your podcast catching app and drop us a review on the show. If you want to slag Dave off, that's fine. If you want to slag me off, that's also fine. But we will both read them out with such glee and laughter when we take the piss out of each other. So please send them, good or bad. We love any reviews. It just helps the show grow and gets us out there. So thank you as always. So the roll call of honour is Ken Gustafsson, Lukalulu Green, Lauren, Susan, Dee Dee, Katie, Libby, Joanna, Noreen, Chloe, Helen, Keith, Gillian, Zoe, Kristen, Maggie, Kate, Megan, Cassie, Fiona, Emma, Nicola, Macy, Helen, Larissa, Amanda, Kim, Caroline, and Danielle. So thank you so much, everyone, for all your support. It's amazing.
Awesome. And Chris, I believe you're all caught up, aren't you, to, what is it, Your Mum, My Dad?
I am, yes.
But it's only like 2 weeks, isn't it?
Yes.
So I do, on the side, I will try and see if I can watch at least a few of those, and maybe we'll drop in an opinion, or we'll do something on that. I will catch up. I like these short series, Chris. These are my new favourite things as we're about to embark on. What is Maths, like 2 months or something? Or?
Don't. I mean, we're not going into Love Island Australia. I promise you, I will not throw you, because that took us up to fucking Christmas Eve last year. There's no way.
We're doing Christmas, wasn't it?
Fucking ridiculous. Yeah. That was my
fault.
all
Christmas shopping and watch fucking Australian Love Island.
Are you around, mate, to record? No, I'm fucking not, Chris. No, leave me alone. Yes, I do apologise. We won't be doing that. But no, it's 2 months. But in fact, it's called My Mum, Your Dad, because I kept calling it wrong. However, It's heartwarming. It's quite different to anything that we do. Like I said, it's not a money thing at the end of it. There has been a couple of contestants coming towards the back end of the week that have sort of shook it up a bit, but everyone at the moment, everyone's getting on, and it's very nice to see human side, and there's loads of emotional baggage to unpack when you watch it. So it isn't what you expect. You're not expecting like a fucking Brooks or a Dean or this Gillian to come on, or like Olivia type baddies. It's not like that. It's filmed quite a high production thing, but yeah, it's good. It's been good, and I think Davina McCall's been good because she's got compassion as well towards everyone, so that's been quite nice to watch. So no, I'd recommend it, mate. Honestly, I've enjoyed it so far this week.
Awesome. Well, thank you very much, sir. Thanks for that. Thanks for doing this series. Thanks to all our listeners out there. Thanks to all our supporters, and we'll speak to you next time.
Bye. Bye.